Ben bir adet arkadaşlar crime dediğimiz crime yani nedir? Suç videosu. Bodycam'li polislerin vücut kameralı suç bir adet. Canım çekiyor. Ondan izlemek istiyorum. Bana katılırsanız sevinirim. İzlemedim daha önce bu videoyu. Nasıl onlar yasak a**ayım? Millet izliyor, Twitch'te izliyor, Kick'te izliyor. Ne alaka lan yasak? Kim diyor yasak? He? 18 artıya getirebilirim yayını. Başlık nedir? Başlığımız şu. Cops search home. Somehow miss dead body. Blood everywhere. Arkadaşlar iyi İngilizce konuştuğum zaman insanlar bana kendilerini yakın hissetmiyorlar. Samimi hissetmiyorlar. Böyle cringe buluyorlar. O yüzden ben Türk aksanıyla artık konuşuyorum İngilizceyi. Sikimde değil. Diyor ki polisler evi aradı. Bir şekilde nasıl olduysa diyor evde ceset ve kanları kaçırdılar diyor.
How did they miss that?
Oh, wow.
How did they miss that?
I have no clue.
It smells.
Rahatsız edici olabilir arkadaşlar video. Bu videolar rahatsız edici
possible organs, bone. But at this time, Detective Diaz and myself are going to back out.
What does your gut tell you may have been or may be inside those toads in those buckets?
La çevirsene.
By September 25th of 2020, Eddie had been attempting to get his attention for at least an hour. But even his mother has no luck, and the officers are forced to consider their other options as the level of concern for Steven's safety continues to increase.
I'm not liking the clicking sound. I don't know what it is. If he's got drugs in there, would he be trying to commit that way? Because he kept saying, whoever he was talking to, he kept telling them, just remember this. You're putting people's lives in jeopardy. Just remember this. Just remember this. That's kept saying that.
Right.
So I guess he figured somebody turned him in and he called in and...
Okuyabiliyorsunuz mu?
Yes, you might, but I've never known Stephen to be so.
No? Okay.
I've supervised him before.
Okay. So the first time I knocked really hard, he was like...
Videonun kendisine de altyazı var da İngilizce kankam.
I don't know what's going through his mind right now, but I'm not like...
Ben zaten konuyu kaçırdım. Başa almam lazım.
Woman hasn't until they were less. They had no idea New Mexico police went... By September 25th of 2020, Eddie Joe Arteaga had been missing for an entire week. When Alamogordo, New Mexico police went to conduct a welfare check on Steven Gonzalez, they had no idea that the two cases could be connected, and much less that they would be walking into a gruesome crime scene. Shockingly so, they remained unaware of that fact for the duration of their visit to the residence. It wasn't until a follow-up call from Steven's family was received that police realized just how appalling the situation was.
Steven, just come to the door, please. Steven. Everything will be okay.
TikTok çekiyor diye baskın mı yiyor?
Steven. Steven, just
Su için.
The woman attempting to coax Steven out is his mother, who arrived on scene with his sister. Officers have been attempting to get his attention for at least an hour, but even his mother has no luck, and the officers are forced to consider their other options as the level of concern for Steven's safety continues to increase.
I'm not liking the clicking sound. I don't know what it is. If he's got drugs in there, would he be trying to commit that way? Because he kept saying, whoever he was talking to, he kept telling them, just remember this. You're putting people's lives in jeopardy. Just remember this. Just remember this. That's kept saying that.
Right.
So I guess he figured somebody turned him in and he called in and...
I guess he might, but I've never known Stephen to be so.
No? Okay.
I've supervised him before.
Okay. So the first time I knocked really hard, he was like, you see, you hear that? That's on you. So I don't know what's going through his mind right now, but I'm not liking it.
Yeah, no. And he's volatile. I don't trust. He's got, seriously got brain damage anyways, but he's volatile.
The details of Stephen's potential brain injury have remained confidential, but based on comments his family will later make, it's clear that he has a history of both behavioral and health issues. For now, though, the focus remains on trying to make contact with Stephen in a way that keeps everyone safe, but the officers don't know that they're already far too late for that.
Hey, Stephen! Stephen, adult probation just wants to talk to you. You need to come to the door, though. Right now, it's not about arresting you, it's about talking to you. But the longer we stand out here, the more likely that a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Don't make it worse than what it is. They just want to talk to you.
Stephen has a prior record with law enforcement. His previous charges include driving with a suspended license, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of a firearm by a felon. This record likely explains why probation officers are involved.
Stephen, please, don't do this to us. Don't do it to yourself.
Bu adam mı Bu adam ölmüş galiba. Bu adam öldürmemiş. Bu ölen adam galiba. Adama ulaşamıyorlar şu anda. Ne olacak? Ne olacak?
Stephen, come on out. You're good. You're good. Hey.
I'm trying to justify this, and
I can't reach him.
look at how much smoke that. Look, I'm not.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Officer safety is paramount in these types of
Ulaştılar, ölmemiş
situations,
abi.
and it's good practice to stand to the side of a door when making entry in case the person inside decides to go on the offensive. However, safety concerns quickly go downhill once officers get inside.
You're good. You're good. Stephen,
Can
can you talk to me?
Oh yes, sir.
Come on out here.
Can I show you my innocence? I want a fair trial because I told them the way you do this, they know how to stop it, they know how to block it, and they know how to, you know what I mean, stuff like that. I have barely learned how to.
Adamın bir de beyninde
Like,
hasar
I
varmış
thought I
arkadaşlar.
finally got all off me,
Got it. Okay.
and then I realized I was like, what happened to all the everything? Like a bunch of stuff was still going on, and it was
It just
more
kind of
than-
messed it. Well, let's talk out here, okay? You're good. Okay. You remember me? I've dealt with you. You've been good with me every time. Okay. Can we talk out here? You're good, Stephen. You're good.
But Stephen is not good, and the officers have no choice but to enter the residence. For reasons that will become obvious later, their intrusion makes Stephen even more agitated.
I'll take this trial and expose everything.
No. We're just talking to you right now, okay? That's why we're here. Can you step on
I
out?
barely learned how to stop that. Like,
Okay. Will you step on out with us?
I look like
You're good. No, we're not worried about that, okay?
like this, man.
That's fine. That's fine.
In case you didn't catch that, Stephen just told his probation officer that he usually doesn't smoke meth like this. Glass pipe still in hand, surrounded by smoke, which is not a great way to avoid being arrested. Even though Stephen hasn't been read his rights at this point,
Elindeki
this statement
ben-
would likely be admissible in court.
Çubuk mubuk
Stephen made his
sandım, o ne
statement
lan?
without being asked any questions, which categorizes his statement as spontaneous utterance.
Oğlum
Additionally,
polise kapıyı açarken niye elinde getiriyorsun bunu bari? Bunu da mı düşünemiyorsun diyeceğim de adamın beyinde hasarı varmış yani. Kınamak da istemiyorum çok.
no one requests that Stephen sets the pipe down to ensure the safety of everyone on the scene. It would be in the best interest of the officers to quickly remove all items from his hands and pockets, then clear the rest of the residence. Another concern is that there is a civilian on scene. Stephen's mother has not
Ben
been
arkadaşlar anal boncuk sandım ya. Kusura bakmayın bunu.
escorted out or
Bunu söylemek
separated from the
istemedim, o yüzden
officers.
çubuk
It would
dedim
not
ama.
be uncommon for the civilian to join in and help Stephen if it ever came to a fight, which poses yet another safety risk to the officers.
Okay. Is anybody else in the house?
She kept on interrupting me.
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Like, can we step out?
Hey, no, I want to justify my stuff.
Stop.
Before you forget and you think I'm crazy, sir.
Steven,
Please.
Steven, I'm not
That's why I
thinking
want
you're
to
crazy.
it.
I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. You're good. Yeah, that's Steven. You're good.
Can you close that door?
Yeah, we'll close it. We'll close it. We'll close it.
No, I want to prove my
Adam
innocence.
kendi rızasıyla dışarı çıksaydı böyle bir şey olmayacaktı. Şimdi adamı paketlediler yani. Çayım
Çay
yok.
içen var mı chat?
Çay yapın da içem chat.
I want
Steven,
I'm
you're
not
good.
guilty of that witchcraft.
As Stephen is being arrested and apparently expressing his concerns about being accused of witchcraft, the other officers on the scene make a
Ne?
cursory search of the premises. And when we say cursory, we really mean it.
I think they're not.
No, hey, y'all gotta watch it. Hey, y'all gonna let me you better not kill me, dog. Hey, I'm not guilty of that. Why would I be?
Witchcraft ne alaka abi? Witchcraft'tan alaka.
While searching the master bedroom, the flashlight beam skims right past what appears to be a hacksaw before continuing on. In addition to the oversight, it's concerning that the officers don't announce that they're the police as they proceed into the trailer and make no commands for others in the residence.
El testeresi görüyor adam ama siklemiyor, yani görmüyor polis. Bakıyor ama görmüyor.
To make themselves known and come out with their hands up. This is a very good way for the officer to get shot. If such an altercation were to occur, the homeowner could just say, "This guy just walked into my bedroom holding a gun and I shot him." In many states, the homeowner would be deemed justified.
Kimin yatak odasında testere yok ki? Bir sikim anladıysan. Daha yeni başladığımız için ben de çok anlamadım ama yavaş yavaş anlıyorum. Şu an yapılan adam, tutuklanan adam sanırım birini öldürmüş. Adamın beyin hasarı varmış. Adam bayağı uyuşturucu kullanıyor. Kafası da iyi anladığım kadarıyla şu anda. Polis evini geziyor adamı tutuklarken. Başka bir şeyden dolayı tutuklanıyor ama. Cinayet şüphesi yok. Polis evi geziyor ama evdeki açık ve net cinayet işaretlerini görmüyor polis. Gözden kaçırıyor, olay o. Enayi polis. Bir de dedi ki adamın evine girerken de polis hata yapıyormuş. Ne demek Hyper? Hata yapıyormuş. Ben elinde silahla geziyor ya, clear atıyor ya, check clear falan filan diyor ya. Orada ben polis demiyor. Polis olduğunu anons etmediği için de eğer içeride biri varsa ve yatak odasına girdiği zaman öldürülürse adamın hiçbir suçu yok. Polis olduğunu söylemediği için. Öldüren adamın hiçbir suçu yok yani. Polis hata yapıyor yani arkadaşlar, onu izliyoruz.
The totes and buckets found in the closets will be deemed critically important, but for now, they go unnoticed. What officers do find is a loaded firearm, along with more drugs and paraphernalia in Stephen's pockets and strewn about the living room. All of these items constitute violations of Stephen's parole, eliminating any question of whether or not he'll be arrested. You may be wondering why police are conducting a search without a warrant. Stephen, along with most other offenders, are typically placed on what is called searchable parole or probation, meaning that warrants and probable cause are not needed for administrative searches of a probationer or their home. A warrantless search of a parolee only needs to be based on a condition, which the prisoner agreed to observe during the balance of his sentence. Often these conditions are written broadly and include terms like, shall not violate any laws or regulations. Therefore, it seems that in this situation, the in-depth search is legal, not the...
Normal şartlar altında bir insana elinde olmadan, mahkeme izni olmadan evine girip yapamıyorlar, arayamıyorlar. Ama bu adam daha önceden hapse girmiş olduğu için ve denetimli serbestlikle dışarıda olduğu için o adamın şartları altında, denetimli serbestliğin şartları altında polisin gelip evini araması da varmış. O yüzden polis burada hata yapmıyormuş, onu söylüyor.
Police still managed to miss the vast majority of the evidence sitting in plain sight.
I understand I'm innocent.
You know I have to
and
check.
Let me explain everything. My cousin.
Bu arada 2000 TL oyun parası yazıyor ya arkadaşlar. O bir aylık oyun parası, yani onu hani bir oyun 2000 liraya bir oyun değil. Öyle anlamayın, yanlış anlamayın. Genel olarak oyunlara harcamak için, oyunlar satın almak için anlamında.
Has a history. Do not blame. I could explain for everything. I know they did some disrespectful stuff when I first got into this.
Drink some water first.
And I wanted to kill them, like with a passion. That's why I did not want to risk my life and let that happen again.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did it.
And the stuff that you're gonna find in here, you're gonna think I'm looking very guilty. I'm just explaining. You know what I mean? So like, you know, like people are going on with their own lives. My bad. Excuse me.
If not you, who else?
Huh?
Who else?
Let me get some water and I can show you for myself.
Polydipsia, or increased thirst, can be a side effect of drug use, perhaps explaining Stephen's incessant requests for water throughout the arrest process. However,
dedi ki adam, evde göreceğiniz şeyler beni çok suçlu gösterecek biliyorum ama açıklamama izin verin gibi bir şey söyledi adam ama daha polis göremedi bile.
There is also a common theory that drinking an entire gallon of water
Öyle
before
gibi
a drug
gözüküyor
test
Eternity.
will allow a person to pass. Though it is possible to get a false negative on such a test, it's usually not this easy. Also of note is the fact that Stephen doesn't mention what he's trying to explain. Police probably think he's talking about his obvious drug use, but the truth is far darker.
Polis de zannediyor ki hani bakın ben suçlu değilim, uyuşturucu kullanmadım diyecek zannediyor ama adamın suçu aslında polisin haberi yok, görmüyor. Bakıyor ama
You guys are
görmüyor.
gonna kill me, bro.
No.
That's the last thing we want.
Like, why did they let them bang on the window? You know what I mean?
Because
Well, they gotta talk to you.
All you have to
Like,
do
I
is
told
come
them
to
the only way to
talk
find the
them.
truth about is if you guys calm down. And she kept banging. I said, calm down, bang. And then they were running all over the place. And I was like, I'm not gonna risk my life and all these lives. Can you shut the door so I could show you?
Paranoia, like Stephen is showing here, is also a common sign of drug use. Although in this
Hatalar
case,
zinciri,
it'll
evet.
eventually come out that Stephen really was trying to show police something horrifying. His concerns for his life, however, don't appear to be based on reality.
Yeah. Let's go talk to here, okay?
In the room?
Steven,
Privately out here.
No, I have to show you because I am not.
Okay, talk.
Bro.
Come on, Stephen. You're good. Let's just talk out here, okay?
While police are doing a good job de-escalating the situation, it would serve them best to promptly remove everyone from the scene. They clearly don't want to fight Stephen, and for good reason, considering the substances he's on. But the longer they spend at the house, the more potential danger they could face.
You won't regret it. I'm sorry. And it sounds so stupid. I have to smoke meth before it gets. I think it's before it gets too far because I barely learned how to. I guess you could say control it. I just want to explain this in court.
what is it exactly that you're trying to explain? Because you still haven't said.
That I am innocent because they kept on denying me. It's my fault. I panicked, but I had a gun to my head and I have PTSD.
Unfortunately, even when one of the officers directly questions what Stephen is talking about, he's in no state to give a comprehensible answer. As a result,
Adam diyor ki ben suçsuzum, ben PTSD'm var.
Eurovision Board'ın templatesi var mı yoksa sıfırdan mı yapıyoruz?
Canva'da yaz Vision Board, çıkıyor orada birkaç tane. O arama kısmına template yazıyor ya, oraya Vision Board yazarsan birkaç tane çıkıyor beleşe. Adam diyor ki ya benim PTSD'm var, kafama silah dayamıştı, o yüzden ben suçsuzum diyor. İnsanlar hala uyuşturucudan falan zannediyor. Polis oğlum desenize burada biri mi
they
öldürüldü
take
diye
Stephen
ya.
away, blissfully unaware that their colleagues would soon be summoned to the house again, this time under markedly worse circumstances. It was determined that Stephen was too high to go straight to booking, so he was first assessed at the hospital. He had high blood pressure and an increased temperature, which can both be symptoms of drug use. He also spent a decent amount of time seemingly talking to himself, but despite this and an apparent injury to his knee, he was deemed in suitable condition to be placed under arrest. Police likely thought the case was closed, but just a few hours later they received a distraught call from Stephen's family requesting they return.
You remember me from earlier?
Evet, polis kamerası gerçekten çok gerekli bir şey ya.
Hi, Singer.
Su içince ne oluyormuş? Bir şey olduğundan değil ya, adam yani adamın sunucunun söylediğine göre uyuşturucudan dolayı çok işte susuyormuş mu, öyle bir şey dedi. Met içmiş galiba. Elinde bulmuşlar. Su içince sakinleşiyor mu? Can Manay mı abi bu adam?
How did they miss that?
Oh, wow.
How did they miss that?
I have no clue.
Bir dakika, o ne abi?
I don't know what that is. It smells.
O vişne su değil mi abi? La bunlar ne? Ne? Okay.
It's blood.
It looks like it.
It smells like it.
Evde bu böyle duruyormuş ve az önceki polisler evi gezerken bunu kaçırdılar abi. Görmediler. 5 litrelik su şişesinin içine doldurulmuş kanı tezgahta görmediler mi?
Sergeant real quick.
The question of how the police missed the two very obvious jugs of blood on the counter is a good one. The question of why the blood is being kept in a jug and a bottle is yet to be answered, though the implication could be stomach-churning. The officer goes outside to privately speak with his sergeant, which is the right thing to do, but he should have removed everyone, especially family members, from the scene before stepping out. As a result of having left family members unattended inside the residence, the scene is not secure and will become increasingly difficult to prosecute.
Oh, there's quite a bit of blood in the jugs. Yeah. I don't know what to do. What do you think? Contact Rodney. Tell him the missing person. What? There's a missing person, everything else.
In case you missed it, the sergeant just said he didn't know what to do. A sergeant should never think out loud like this, as it doesn't show much leadership when the leader says, "I don't know what to do." Additionally, the sergeant should be responding to the scene immediately. Back inside, another officer
Ne? Ne yapacağımı bilmiyorum ağabey. Nasıl polis oğlum bunlar?
Arrives to supervise the family members, but he also appears to struggle with the protocols intended to keep a scene secure.
I don't understand how they missed that. It was like right there in the counter.
That's where it was setting the whole time?
I looked at it and I was like, this later something, you know, like, he didn't have like,
Oyun oynayacağız Armilus.
but it doesn't look like it. I can smell it.
But it definitely looks like blood to me.
Maybe.
Shockingly, the officer continues to allow Steve.
Hello. Thank you.
And sister to handle the evidence, while his mother and grandmother move about the residence. Even though the sister is wearing gloves, that evidence can almost certainly be considered contaminated now. The family should have been removed immediately, as they have every reason to try to contaminate the scene to help Stephen's case. Even the officers themselves shouldn't be inside at this point. At the very least, they should not be touching anything. So far, this is exactly how not to handle a scene.
Have you guys been in here cleaning, or what was going on? I opened up here for you.
It was trash. There was glass on the floor. That's all we picked up. I mean, all the bags are outside. We didn't
Oğlum.
throw anything away, but we moved the glass out of the...
Bütün suç mahallinin amına koymazsam yani her şey temizlemişler falan böyle iş mi olur ya?
There was glass that was broken.
Down there? It doesn't look like it. Looks like the...
That's not good.
That. I didn't see under the vent.
I already opened it.
Okay. Well, if you can leave that like that, just leave it open like that. We're gonna have to take pictures of all of this. Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm just saying that right now. I didn't see that right
Ne gördü? Ne gördü la kız ağlamaya başladı.
Well, if you can leave that like that, just leave it open like that. We're gonna have to take pictures of all of this. Yeah.
Bir şey gösteriyor ve ağlıyor kız.
Oh my god. I'm just saying that right now. I didn't see that right.
Is it gel?
Smell it.
Oh, I understand. Most of the time, I understand. I was just asking if it gelled up like blood when it coagulates.
It does?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not?
So that's what I'm gonna check. So.
Kadın ne gördü aşağıda da?
What do you see?
It's hard to tell, but it looks like there's some kind of a formed clump in there.
Now the officer is actively contaminating evidence himself instead of passively allowing it to happen. DNA and trace evidence have certainly been transferred left and right. A defense attorney would be able to destroy the case in court. But despite the mishandling of the scene and the shock value of what is discovered, semi-coagulated blood in a water bottle is far from the worst thing that will be discovered in Stephen's house.
Yeah, that's blood. That's a lot. Yeah.
And he started cleaning up a little bit, and I noticed that, and then I just noticed that, and then I could show you something else.
Oh, yeah, that's...
And then look, I don't know what that is, but I can't open that. I can't.
Oğlum hala neden oradasınız?
Yeah, let's not touch that, because there's...
I don't know what could happen here.
Oğlum çıkın artık dışarı çıkarsana şu aileyi çıldıracağım. Hala aile evde. Aa! Bantlayın artık şu eve.
There's a plastic tarp and buckets with blood on them.
Clearly, the contents of the plastic totes are disturbing, enough to rattle the officer as well as Stephen's sister, because he finally mentions that they should stop touching the evidence. Not that he enforces the suggestion, though. But if there is something so obviously concerning about the bins, it raises the question of how they were overlooked by the first round of police. Then again, if they failed to notice a jug of blood in plain sight, it's not exactly surprising that they weren't interested in the totes. For now, the police leave the plastic bins and buckets alone, likely to preserve whatever evidence remains after the family cleaned and multiple officers tromped through the house. But before a team arrives to inspect the contents, officers are in for yet another surprise. While this one is less gory, it's no less concerning. A wallet containing an ID and credit cards belonging to Eddie Joe Arteaga is found on the table in Stephen's house. Eddie Joe had been reported missing a few days prior by a cousin who claimed he'd not been heard from since September 18th. Note that Stephen's mother places the wallet on the table to be photographed. It should have been documented where it was found in the residence, not moved to a different location. As a result, we'll likely never know exactly where the wallet was found, which could seriously impact the validity of the evidence. Stephen's cousin shared that Eddie Joe had recently been hit by a semi-truck and received critical injuries, including severed fingers and a broken pelvis. Since that time, she stated, he hadn't been the same, and she suspected he'd started using drugs to cope. She was worried he might have done something to harm himself. However, the presence of blood and Eddie Joe's wallet in Stephen's house present a potential alternate reason why Eddie Joe had fallen out of contact. Along with whatever will soon be found in the totes, the situation looks grim. And it only gets worse.
You know, we have a lot of family to answer to. Everybody's been looking for my nephew, and
was that what the original call out here earlier was?
I can't believe you would do that. No, I don't want to believe it.
Yani ne zaman boşaltacaksınız bu evi?
We haven't touched it.
I wasn't here. I don't know how they got through their stuff earlier.
My brother, I don't see anything he would be capable of doing this. I just can't.
So this is your brother and nephew that were here?
My brother and cousin.
And your cousin? Okay. So your brother got arrested today? And your cousin is missing. Okay.
In a twist police likely never predicted, they learned that Eddie Joe and Stephen are cousins. Stephen's mother is Eddie Joe's aunt, and she and Stephen's sister have spent the past few days looking for their missing family member.
When's last time?
Camera recording started.
Saturday.
On Saturday? Okay, was that here?
That's what somebody said. They dropped him off here.
Okay.
I seen it.
Oğlum adamın geri kalanı nerede lan?
You saw Eddie here on Friday? Okay. So a week ago? A week ago today?
And when we came here on Monday, we noticed that his bag was on the couch.
Hepsini mi kutuya doldurdu?
Okay.
And his girlfriend, everybody started looking wondering why hasn't he contacted nobody?
Yeah.
Police were able to confirm that a different one of Eddie Joe's cousins had dropped him off with Stephen on the previous Friday or the Saturday that followed, just a handful of days before he was reported missing.
So when you dropped Eddie off, did you go in with him? Okay, so you just dropped him off there.
Him, Stephen.
Oh, it's that bad.
Like, I can't explain it, man, but like, he's just
Okay,
liable to
Stephen
slip
mi?
out, you know what I mean?
Over the few days that follow, police are able to speak with more members of the family, and they learn more about both Stephen and Eddie. Though they attempt to question Stephen himself, confronting him about the disturbing contents of his house, he declines to answer without a lawyer present. Still, his family has some telling information to share. Perhaps some of the most interesting stories come from one of Stephen's aunts.
Ants karınca diye çevirmiş abi, çok iyi. Teyzesi diyor, karınca değil. Hoş geldin aşkım. Hürdapar çeviriyor.
I always tell her, I always told her, how come you don't get him help? She's like, you try to get him help. She goes, I'm not I can't. She's scared of him. Maria is scared of Stephen. But I used to think,
annesi mi
I
Medi?
didn't get him help when he was younger.
Annesi bile çocuğundan... Ne? Oğlum adam kardeşini, kız kardeşini bıçaklamış lan, daha... Ne yapması lazım? Kulak seks derken abi? Nasıl bir seks olayı? Bu hangi oyun amık? 2K. 2K mı? 2K mı? Ha şunu diyorsun. Bir oyun değil abi. Bak sana da açıkladı. Açıkladık kardeşimiz onu yayını. O bir oyun değil. Genel olarak oyun. Oyun bütçesi. Bir aylık oyun bütçesi. Ben alırım sana diyor ya. Ulan ben de alırım ki. Bunu mu konuşacağız aşkım şimdi şu an?
You know, give him some help. He needs help. I don't want to believe Stephen killed Eddie Joe, but I would trust him.
Yani bu adam, bahsedilen adam, şüpheli adam, kız kardeşini bıçaklamış bacağından. Bu adam neden hala dışarıda?
So you don't want to believe it, but on the same term, you have your opinion that Stephen could have.
And if they were high, that's even worse.
We know for a fact that Stephen had recently been high, and if what his aunt is saying is true, perhaps the drugs pushed him over the edge and caused him to do something terrible. His sister is able to provide some additional insight.
So you're saying that he's been doing really good, meaning everything has seemed pretty normal, pretty chill, up until the last few weeks?
Well, yeah, pretty much, but like,
Denetimli salmışlar kafası gidik diye. Oğlum tam tersi olması gerekmiyor mu?
aside from his...
Kafası gidik adamı niye salıyor?
This is what I'm talking about when I say mental illness, okay? Stephen, I can take him to the store, and he'll go into the store like 3 times to get one thing. And he'll stay there. Like, I even recorded him because I was like, this is so sad, you know? And he's like, oh,
Şiddet pornosu.
I forgot I was in there for toilet paper. And he's like, oh, I need ice. And he stays in the store, and he'll just be looking like he can't remember.
Like he zones out almost?
Yeah. Like he zones out.
And is
like,
that a recent development, or?
It's gotten worse recently. To the point where like nobody wants to do
Evet, kafası gidikse salmazsın abi, gidersin. Şey yaparsın. Akıl hastanesine mi koyuyorsun artık? Rehabilitasyona mı koyuyorsun? Bir şeye koyarsın yani. Dışarı salınır mı lan?
Like run one errand will be like your whole afternoon.
It's unclear how much of Stephen's struggles were a result of drug use or mental illness. The way his sister first describes his symptoms, it sounds like ADHD. However,
ADHD'nin böyle etkileri yoktur ya. Chat. Değil mi?
Methamphetamine use literally eats holes in your brain, like dementia, which also fits the symptoms described. It's entirely possible that everything described is related to his ongoing drug use. Lending credence to this theory is the fact that, according to Stephen's other sister, getting high only worsened Stephen's symptoms.
Well, Stephen's a good person too, and he's...
Deliyse salıyorlar bir süre sonra. Normal suçludan daha tehlikeli değil mi bunun? Bence yani ikisi de tehlikeli kanka ya. Hani dahasını bilemem ama evet. Kesinlikle salınmaması gerekiyor.
Gotten better. But when he's high, I can tell. He starts looking around. He'll hear stuff and like he'll be like stuff on him, and I can just tell when he's on that. I just hate drugs. Like, and sometimes Steven would do them and he would be so paranoid, like saying he was possessed.
Notably, the behavior Steven's sister describes is very reminiscent of how Steven was acting during his arrest. The officers soon shift the conversation to the subject of her cousin Eddie Joe.
What's your fears? You talked a little bit about it earlier, whenever you were out over there by the house.
Özet mi isteniyor?
My cousin's dead.
Why do you think that?
Özet istiyorsanız bir tane adamın evine gidiyorlar. Adamın evine
konuş artık.
Neden tam olarak gittiklerini bilmiyorum ama hani cinayet suçundan falan gitmiyorlar ama adam uyuşturucu bağımlısı, daha önce şeye girmiş, hapse girmiş, çıkmış, bir de üzerine beyin hasarı olan bir adam. Adamın evine giriyorlar. Adamı alıyorlar. Adam o sırada içmiş, kullanmış. Kafası da iyi. Adamı alıyorlar, kelepçeliyorlar, götürecekler. Eve bakıyorlar o sırada. Abi evde meğersem tezgahın üzerinde 5 litrelik pet şişelerde şeffaf kan var. Bayağı bildiğin. Ondan sonra odada bir yerde yani bir kokular geliyor. Korkunç kokular gelen kutular var, poşet. Ama polis bunların hiçbirini görmüyor. O sırada adamı alıyor, götürüyor, evi de boş bırakıyor. Ailesi tutuklanan adamın eve geldiğinde bunları fark ediyor, polisi arıyor ve o sırada evi temizlemeye başlamışlar bile. Yani suç mahallinin damına koymazsam. Polisler inanılmaz amatör. Yatak odasında da testere var. Aynen öyle. Ben polis bunu görmüyor. Yani dikkatini mi çekmiyor artık bilmiyorum çünkü kamerasında görüyoruz. Kanı da görüyoruz, testereyi de görüyoruz. Ondan sonra yani polisin çok hatalarının olduğu ve bu yüzden uzun süreler anlaşılamayan bir olay. Aynı zamanda bu adamın kuzeni kayıpmış. Bu kız kardeşi, suçlu kişinin kız kardeşi. Bence benim kuzenim öldü diyor işte. Bence o kuzenimi öldürdü diyor. Neden öldürdü? Nasıl öldürdü? Niye öldürdü? Onları daha bilmiyoruz biz de.
Is that abnormal?
He would have called my sister or his girlfriend.
In addition to interviewing the family, investigators speak with a friend of Steven's who came forward to share a rumor he heard. Note that he refers to someone named...
Yataktaki lateks karı mı? O ne ya? Aşkım madem izlemeyeceksin niye özetlettirdin bana ya? Şaka mısın oğlum sen? Özetle... Ya banlıyorum ben bu adamı chat ya. Başkası dese banlarım yemin ederim şunu.
Shadow. This is Eddie Joe's nickname.
And a couple people that hang around with said that they were on post with
Banladık mı? Banlamadık işte.
Steven and Shadow and something happened. They got a notification or something.
Siye ne ya? Yıl kaç abi? Siye ne ya?
And one of them shot Shadow.
When this happened?
I don't know when, but they said that
Steven
had left and that Steven was supposed to stay there and take care of it, he said. That was his family.
While this theory isn't impossible, it doesn't appear that it was ever considered a significant lead. With a better understanding of Steven's background and mental state, it was finally time for police to see what horrors were hidden in his closet.
Evet Zoltrak kardeşim.
Right. Entry into living room.
Bak. Videonun bitmesine 4 dakika kalmış. Sonra giriyoruz.
Kitchen. Numerous handguns. Continuing into kitchen. Jug. What appears to be blood.
Bu polisin yaptığı hatayı düzeltme şeyi mi?
Appears to be blood. Right up on the bottom.
Near the blood-stained vent, the investigators also found blood on the kitchen chairs and door to the master bedroom. This was where the true horrors would be found, tucked away inside the plastic tubs. If the first set of police had looked just a little harder, they might have pieced together the sinister implications of the contents.
Right back into the bedroom.
Olay yeri geldi mi? Niye tek kişi abi olay yeri inceleme?
Notepad with what? Hacksaw. Razor blades. Sore. Lotion.
Though the
Bir de not
investigator
almış,
doesn't
kendine
comment on the
checklist
last
yapmış.
item listed, this, combined with the presence of the blood and the saw, suggests a horrifying reason that Stephen might need a fridge ASAP. What they find next isn't going to soothe any of the rising concerns.
Karşısına bir de fan koymuş abi bak. Buradan anlamanız lazım zaten abi. Bunlara bakan vantilatör niye var? Niye buraya bakan vantilatör var? Adamın buzdolabı olmadığı için vantilatör koymuş karşısına işte.
Not sure what that is at this point. Clothes with what appears to be a bunch of nets, blood, shoes, plastic bag here appears to be some sort of bone, unknown at this time just yet. At this time, we have what appears to be possible organs, bone, but at this time, Detective Diaz and myself are going to back out and await for the arrival of New Mexico State Police evidence team.
It was quickly determined that the buckets did, in fact, contain human remains. DNA results would take time, but to all involved, the answer seemed hauntingly obvious.
Does your gut tell you may have been or may be inside those toads in those buckets?
Tragically, she was right. In March of 2023, Stephen Gonzalez was found guilty of second-degree murder for killing his cousin Eddie Joe, among other charges. Eddie Joe had been shot once in the head, likely with the gun police discovered in Stephen's house, before being dismembered and decapitated. His head was found in one of the 5-gallon buckets, while the rest of his remains were distributed among the plastic totes. Because the murder took place during the peak COVID era, it took nearly 2 years for the case to be closed. Police never did determine a motive, but suspected Stephen's history of drug use and paranoia might have been factors.
Of, polis yapacağın işi ya. 2 sene sürmüş adam davanın kapanması.